Then the Jade Emperor gave to me the name. Equal to heaven, such, the rank most high. Thrice I caused havoc in divine Mist's hall. Once I stole peaches from the mother queen. Thus came 100,000 men divine to curb me with their rows of spears and swords. The Devaraja was beaten back to heaven, while Na in pain led his troops and fled. Xiansheng master knew transformations well. With him I waged a contest and I fell. Lao Tzu, Guanyin, and the Jade Emperor all watched the battle at South Heaven Gate. When Lao Tzu decided to lend his help, Erlang brought me to heaven's magistrate. To the monster rooting pillar I was tied. The gods were told to have my head cut off, failing to harm me with either sledge or sword. They would blast and burn me with thunderclaps. What skills indeed did this old monkey have, who was not even half a whit afraid? Into Lao's brazier they sent me next, to have me slowly cooked by fire divine. The day the lid was opened I jumped out, and ran through heaven brandishing a rod. Back and forth I prowled with none to stop me, making havoc through all 36 heavens. Then Tathagata revealed his power. Under Mount 5 Phases he had me clamped, and there I squirmed for a full 500 years, till by luck Tripitaka left the Tang court. Now I go west, having yielded to truth, to see jade eyebrows at great thunderclap. Go and ask in the four corners of the universe. You'll learn I'm the famous ranking daimon of all time. When the monster heard these words, he laughed and said, "So you are the Ban Horse Plague who disturbed the celestial palace." What most annoyed Pilgrim was when people called him Ban Horse Plague. The moment he heard that name, he lost his temper. "You monstrous rogue," he shouted. "You would not return the cassock you stole, and yet you dare insult this holy monk. Don't run away. Watch this rod." The swarthy fellow jumped aside to dodge the blow. Wielding his long lance, he went forward to meet his opponent. That was some battle between the two of them. The compliant rod, the black tasseled lance. Two men display their power before the cave, stabbing at the heart and face, striking at the head and arm. This one proves handy with a death-dealing rod. That one tilts the lance for swift triple jabs. The white tiger climbing the mountain extends his paws. The yellow dragon lying on the road turns his back, with colored mists flying and bright flashes of light. Two monster gods' strength is yet to be tried. One's the truth-seeking, equal to heaven sage. One's the great black king who's now a spirit. Why wage this battle in the mountain still? The cassock for which each would aim to kill. That monster fought with Pilgrim for more than 10 rounds until about noon, but the battle was a draw. Using his lance to halt the rod for a moment, the swarthy fellow said, "Pilgrim's son, let us put away our weapons for the time being. Let me have some lunch first, and then I'll wage a further contest with you." "Accursed beast," said Pilgrim. "You want to be a hero. Which hero wants to eat after fighting for merely half a day? Consider old monkey who was imprisoned beneath the mountain for altogether 500 years, and he hadn't even tasted a drop of water. So, what's this about being hungry? Don't give me any excuses, and don't run away. Give me back my cassock, and I'll allow you to go and eat." But that monster only managed to throw one more feeble thrust with his lance before dashing into the cave and shutting his stone doors. He dismissed his little demons and made preparations for the banquet, writing out invitation cards to the monster kings of various mountains, but we shall say no more about that. We must tell you that Pilgrim had no success in breaking down the door, and so had to return to the Guanyin Hall. The clerics of that monastery had already buried the old monk, and they were all gathered in the back room to minister to the Tang monk, serving him lunch soon after he had finished breakfast. As they were scurrying about fetching soup and hauling water, Pilgrim was seen descending from the sky. The monks bowed courteously and received him into the back room to see Tripitaka. "Wukong?" said Tripitaka. "So you've returned. How is the cassock?" "At least I found the real culprit," said Pilgrim. "It was a good thing that we did not punish these monks, for the monster of Black Wind Mountain did steal it. I went secretly looking for him, and saw him seated on a beautiful grass meadow, having a conversation with a white-robed scholar and an old Taoist. He was, in a sense, making a confession without being tortured, saying something about the day after tomorrow being his birthday, when he would invite all the other griffins for the occasion. He also mentioned that he had found an embroidered Buddha robe last night, in celebration of which he was planning to throw a large banquet, calling it the Festival of the Buddha Robe. Old Monkey rushed up to them and struck out with his rod. The swarthy fellow changed into the wind and left, and the Taoist also disappeared. The white-robed scholar, however, was killed, and he turned out to be a white-spotted snake who had become a spirit. I quickly chased the swarthy fellow to his cave and demanded that he come out to fight. He had already admitted that he took the cassock, but we fought to a draw after half a day of battle. The monster returned to his cave because he wanted to eat. He closed his stone doors tightly and refused to fight anymore. I came back to see how you were and to make this report to you. Since I know the whereabouts of the cassock, I'm not worried about his unwillingness to give it back to me." When the various monks heard this, some of them folded their hands while others kowtowed, all chanting, "Namo Amitabha." Now that the whereabouts of the cassock is known, we have a claim to our lives again. "Don't celebrate yet," said Pilgrim, "for I have not yet recovered it, nor has my master left. Wait until we have the cassock so that my master can walk peacefully out of this door before you start cheering. If there's the slightest mishap, Old Monkey is no customer to be provoked, is he? Have you served some good things to my master? Have you given our horse plenty of hay?" We have, cried the monks hastily. "Our service to the holy monk has not slackened in the least. You were gone only half a day," said Tripitaka. "And I have been served tea 3 times and have had 2 vegetarian meals. They didn't dare slight me. You should therefore make a great effort to get back the cassock." "Don't rush," said Pilgrim. "Since I know where he is, I shall certainly capture this fellow and return the garment to you. Relax. Relax." As they were speaking, the abbot brought in some more vegetarian dainties to serve to the holy monk's son. Pilgrim ate some and left at once on the hallowed cloud to search for the monster. As he was traveling, he saw a little demon approaching from the main road, who had a box made of pear tree wood wedged between his left arm and his body. Suspecting that something important was inside the box, Pilgrim raised his rod and brought it down hard on the demon's head. Alas, the demon could not take such a blow. He was instantly reduced to a meat patty, which Pilgrim tossed to the side of the road. When he opened the box, there was indeed an invitation slip, on which was written, "Your student servant, the bear, most humbly addresses the exalted aged dean of the Golden Pool. For the gracious gifts you have bestowed on me on several occasions, I am profoundly grateful. I regret that I was unable to assist you last night when you were visited by the god of fire, but I suppose that your holy eminence has not been adversely affected in any way. Your student by chance has acquired a Buddha robe, and this occasion calls for a festive celebration. I have therefore prepared with care some fine wine for your enjoyment, with the sincere hope that your holy eminence will be pleased to give us a visit. This invitation is respectfully submitted 2 days in advance." When Pilgrim saw this, he roared with laughter, saying, "That old carcass! He didn't lose anything by his death. So he belonged to a monster's gang. Small wonder that he lived to his 270th year. That monster, I suppose, must have taught him some little magic like ingesting his breath, and that was how he enjoyed such longevity. I can still remember how he looked. Let me change myself into that monk and go to the cave to see where my cassock is located. If I can manage it, I'll take it back without wasting my energy. Dear great sage, He recited a spell, faced the wind, and changed at once into an exact semblance of that old monk. Putting away his iron rod, he strode to the cave, crying, "Open the door." When the little demon who stood at the door saw such a figure, he quickly made his report inside. "Great King, the Elder of the Golden Pool has arrived." Greatly surprised, the monster said, "I just sent a little one to deliver an invitation to him, but he could not possibly have reached his destination even at this moment. How could the old monk arrive so quickly? I suppose the little one did not run into him on the way, but Pilgrim Sun must have asked him to come here for the cassock. You, steward, hide the cassock. Don't let him see it." Walking through the front door, Pilgrim saw in the courtyard pines and bamboos sharing their green, peaches and plums competing in their glamour. Flowers were blooming everywhere, and the air was heavy with the scent of orchids. It was quite a grotto heaven. He saw, moreover, a parallel couplet mounted on both sides of the second doorway that read, "A deep mountain retreat without worldly cares. A divine cave secluded, what joy serene." Pilgrim said to himself, "This fellow is also one who withdraws from dirt and dust, a fiendish creature who knows his fate." He walked through the door and proceeded further. When he passed through the third doorway, he saw carved beams with elaborate ornaments and large windows brightly decorated.